Weimer.
Yeah, read, Otis. Oh, work, march. Up, up. Left, haste. Go first, march. Up, up. Present, arms.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, arms.
If you'd like to bow with me. Gracious God and Heavenly Father, I pray for your blessing as we've gathered here this evening to listen to these candidates and to make some important choices. We're mindful that in all things the ultimate decision comes from your hand, but I do thank you for your blessing to live in a country where we have this freedom to listen and to make these choices. And I pray that you would grant us that wisdom and grant each candidate the wisdom in answering the questions that are asked. We look to you, and above all, I thank you for the one representative that you have established for the salvation of sinners, your Son, the Lord Jesus Christ, in whose name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Oath. 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 Present. Arms. Order. Arms. Oath. Over. March.
All right, thank you. You may be seated. On behalf of the Southern Hill Business Association, my name is Daniel Lonsberry. I'm this year's president, and we're doing this. We're partnering up with the Southern Hills Homeowners Association. The president's Dee Thompson. I want to thank her this evening. And Susan Bettinger is the League of Women Voters representative. I want to thank her as well. One quick announcement before we get underway. We're hosting, the Southern Hills Business Association is hosting our 2014 Southern Hills Business Expo, which will be located at Southern Summer Grove Baptist Church, September 30th from 5 to 7. We want to welcome everyone to come out, all the new businesses that are coming to town, and plus existing business will have booths there. Last year, I believe we had over 70 booths. And this year, we're going to have a taste of Southern Hills, and so there'll be plenty to eat, and it's free to the public. So we want to welcome everyone out to that this evening. And also, you can find us on Facebook. If you have any information that you're needing to get, we'll be available by there. Without further ado, I've got our Charter Director, John Lorick. He will be our moderator this evening. I want to thank him for coming out, and I want to recognize all of our elected officials and those running. We've got a big election year this year, and we'll get underway. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Daniel, and welcome tonight. We appreciate your attendance. We appreciate your concern about the future of our city, and we hope tonight that this forum will be informative for you and better enable you to make the decision that you feel is best for the future and the direction of our great city. Very quickly, let me just kind of set the pace of things. None of the candidates tonight have had privy to any of the questions that will be asked. No candidate will be asked the same question. Now, if you're Baptist, don't panic with these baskets up here. We're not taking an offering tonight, okay? Unless you really want to give. Now, I'm not beyond that. Actually, what will happen tonight is we have 4 different categories. We will ask each candidate to draw from that basket a question. Ms. Susan will hand that question to me, and that will be the first time the candidate will hear that question and have privy of answering the question. So we welcome you tonight. We welcome our candidates. To my left, in alphabetical order, is Ms. Anna Marie Arpino and Mr. Sam Jenkins, Ms. Victoria Vicenta. I knew I was going to mess that up. And Ms. Holly Tyler, and the guy on the other end is Mr. Patrick Williams. And we have 2 other candidates that have filed that did not register in time to be on the platform, but they are in attendance tonight, and feel free to speak with them, Mr. Melvin Slack and also Mr. Jim Crowley. So what will take place tonight, candidates? Since we expect you to uphold the law when and if you're elected as our mayor, we're going to implement that tonight. We're going to give a 2-minute time limit on each question. You will be given a 30-second notice, and then you'll be given a 15-second notice. You'll be given a stop notice, and we're going to help you with that because we're going to turn your mic off. So don't go over that. We're trying to make this as fair and equitable as totally possible. Jim, if you will come. We have timekeepers, and Jim will be taking care of the signs. So as you answer a question, he will give you notice there. You have in front of you tonight the only question you had privy of, and we just made that available. We asked the question, what experience do you feel you have to become mayor, and what job experience that you are part of better qualifies you over the other candidates? We're going to ask that you take 2 minutes to answer both of those questions to the best of your ability, and we will start tonight our forum with Ms. Anna Marie.
Answering the first question, what experience do I feel I have to become mayor? Second question, as he stated, what sets you apart? Number 1, I'm a degreed accountant. I was city accountant in 1990 for the city of Shreveport. I deliberately walked into that job to learn the city funds, one day knowing I would run for mayor of this city. That was 1990, and you all know how many years ago that was. I learned the funds of the city, how they work, what should be in them, how they apply. Before that, that was after college. I have a degree in accounting from a Louisiana accredited university. Before that, I was a contractor, large scale, the largest utility water and sewer contractor in the city and in the state at the time. The principal owner, one of them was me. I was principal. Wasn't well known. It was principally owned by a woman. That in those days, I ran things. Superintendents ran out on the job site. I did $20 million worth of work a year in Shreveport Mayoral. I put in the first water lines to the first GM plant in 1978. Such as some of my larger projects. Green Acres Place, water and sewer. Brownlee, which is Bossier, of course. Golden Meadows, Ellerby Road Estates, where I bought my first house when I was 19. We need roads. We need water and sewer. I can't tell you how bad they're crumbling in our city. That's why I'm running. But we need to know what's in the funds that your taxpayer money paid for. It needs to go where you were told it would go. If not, it needs to. And the money taken from the Shreveport for any reason needs to be returned if it's not under what we need.
That's how the microphone works. Do you like that? Thank you. Mr. Jenkins?
First of all, let me say good evening to all of you who have assembled here today. Let me express my appreciation to the organizers of this event, and it is certainly a privilege to share the stage tonight with some very distinguished citizens here in the city of Shreveport. My first and foremost experience is being a parent and the head of my household. Like many of you, I get up every day and I have to try to face the challenges that face my family. Paying bills, trying to make sure the children are going to school and doing the things they need to do, leaving my home and going to work, sometimes from early morning to late night, running a business. That type of experience is experience that connects me with people. What I'm saying to you tonight is I'm in this election for the people. I'm not a part of anybody's political machine, and I do not desire to be that. I want to be answerable to the people of the city of Shreveport if I'm elected your next mayor. I am the only candidate on this stage who's actually been in City Hall the past 8 years involved in local government. As a councilman, we represent the voices of the people. That's our role at City Hall. We don't work for the administration. We're not city employees. We bring your voice into city government. Once again, experience being connected with the people. I served on the Caddo Parish Commission for 4 years. I presently serve on the City Council in my 4th year on the council. I have been through 8 different budget cycles, so I am familiar with the budget, and I am familiar with a lot of the issues that are coming before the city in City Hall. This is a very pivotal time for our city. I do believe experience in local government and a vision that I will be discussing with you in the days ahead will give our city a fresh start. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jenkins. Ms. Provenza, let me ask you, and the sake of time, let's hold our applause till the end of the evening, and then we'll thank all of our candidates for their participation. It's a work night, school night, and we respect your time and thank you for coming out. And so in respect to that, we ask that you hold your applause. Ms. Provenza, would you answer the question, please?
Absolutely. Thank you, and I appreciate being invited to be here tonight. It would be a great honor for me to serve the citizens of the city of Shreveport as their mayor. I am uniquely qualified among the candidates to serve for mayor because I have corporate worldwide experience where I have consulted for multiple municipalities across the United States and the C-level suites of the Fortune 50 corporations spread across the globe. I offer professional management services, and I have brought successful projects to numerous municipalities as well as state and regional governments. I started at the ripe old age of 26 as a geologist when I was forced to leave Shreveport for the first time. I was born and raised here, but at that time, as a geologist, after writing my thesis on the Haynesville Shale, I was forced to move away from the city because I enjoyed eating. So for employment, I moved to California, where I managed 17 Superfund sites. So some of the issues facing the city of Shreveport, I led at a very early age as a manager with multi-million-dollar responsibilities and dealing directly with the EPA on matters that are much larger than our consent decree. So I'm uniquely qualified to be able to handle the water and sewer issues as far as the EPA is concerned as an environmental geologist in the consent decree. My career progressed on to infrastructure and environmental, where I managed large GIS, or geographic information systems, for, again, cities and municipalities and local and regional governments. By implementing these technologies into their communities, we built viable communities and had sustainable growth and built their economic development structures. I too will have many town hall meetings that I invite you to.
Ms. Tyler, would you answer the questions presented, please?
Thank you so much, and it is indeed a pleasure for me to also be here this evening to answer the first question. What experience do you feel you have to become mayor? I feel that I'm uniquely also qualified because I think I'm the only candidate who has served as a chief executive officer in a public capacity. And as you know, the mayor of the city is the chief executive officer. And in that role, the mayor must be able to manage a large organization. My record shows that I have managed more than 6,500 employees. The mayor of the city must be able to manage a large budget consisting of local, state, and federal dollars. My record shows that I've been able to manage more than $425 million annually of state, local, and federal dollars. The mayor of the city must be able to manage capital projects. My record shows that I have been able to manage capital projects in order to get things done. The mayor of the city must have a vision and be able to execute on that vision. My record shows that I have been able to manage and galvanize and unite people around a vision, connect with the community, and engage people across all walks of life, and we got things done. I also have a vision for the city of Shreveport, a city that I love so dearly. And that vision is that every citizen has an opportunity to be in a safe environment, has an economic opportunity, has educational attainment so they can acquire a good job and protect and take care of their families, and also have a good quality of life. And I ask you this afternoon and this evening, if you would consider voting for me, a person who has the experience as the chief
It works. It works. I'm going to try this on Sunday morning with my pastor. I kind of like this idea. Sometimes I get through listening before he gets through speaking, so it might be a good idea. Mr. Williams, would you answer the question before you, please?
Thank you. I'm Patrick Williams, and you know, I love this city.
Mr. Williams.
I love the people of the city.
Let me ask you to remain seated to be fair to all candidates, please, okay?
All right, so my time starts over?
Yeah, you're going to have that. We'll give you credit for your time. How's that?
I love this city. I really do. I love the people of this city. You know, Shreveport, it just cannot afford another failed administration. The leadership is what is needed here, and that's what I bring. It needs someone that can unify this city, and I'm that candidate. All right, let's just get down to the point. I'm the only candidate here that will be prepared to do this job on day one. It's going to take a lot of energy and vigor, getting up early, staying late, working 13-hour days, and that's what I'm going to put in. I served on Appropriations Committee with a $26 billion budget. I serve now as Vice Chair of Ways and Means with large capital outlay projects. You know, anyone can tell you what the problems are, but it's about finding solutions, and that's what I'm about. I have the ability to work with anyone, no matter what your background or affiliations. And you know, sometimes I get criticized for that. Go figure. But here's the most important fact. It didn't take 200 conversations before I made my decision, and it didn't take a committee to bring me back. I'm controlled by no one. No one but me. I have a degree in architecture. I've worked with constructions. That's what the next mayor is going to be able to do. It's not about managing, it's about leadership. That's what's been failing this city, leadership. Even in the departments, lack of leadership. And so that's what I bring to this table, the ability to lead and work with everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Okay, now we're going to draw significant questions of interest. Let me say that these questions have been submitted by the public and the business community. So these questions are concerns of the community itself, questions that you have asked. And so tonight we're going to start again with Ms. Alpino, and if you'll pull from the first basket, please. Okay, she has chosen question number 5, panel. And the question is, how will you raise revenue given that we have lost General Motors and other large companies?
Raising revenue in this town, yes, we will need to do that. We've had bond issues in the past. I'm not going to tell you that I'm not going to have to be able to do another bond issue. Realize that your pension fund is almost $200 million underfunded. You need a degreed accountant in there to work with that. And yes, that will probably take a bond issue. But we also need people like myself that are willing to go to the communities, go to the corporations and ask them, please come to our town. I have the buildings. I have empty buildings just sitting there with people ready to hurt them and throw rocks through them. We'll let the taxes go on that particular piece of property. We'll give up business taxes. Bring your corporations and companies to our town. Hire our people. Economics is how we're going to be able to do that. It's going to take a lot of money just for the pension plan to pull it out. But realize, please understand, I'm the only one up here that's the contractor behind. Actually, my father built the city of Shreveport's water supply, the master line in 1955 for $30 million. It's supposed to have lasted 20 years is what you paid for. We're on our 60th year. That tells you what kind of work ethic I come from. When I was 23 years old, I was running $60 million of a company, running $20 million of work to have your water and sewer that you've had for the last 40 years. I was 23. I'm 56 now. And I would run it exactly like my father did. When people couldn't get things done, they'd come to our home. He'd offer them a cup of coffee, sit at his desk, tell them the problems they have. My father would find the solutions. That's why my accounting firm is Business Solutions. I was raised up with people and family that helped our community.
Okay, Mr. Jenkins, it's your turn to draw. Question number 3. Mr. Jenkins, what is the one thing that you see desperately wrong in our city?
I would not pinpoint any single issue as being desperately wrong with our city. I do believe that over the years we have built a good foundation here in the city, both in economic development as well as neighborhoods, and as well as realizing that we need to work together with other governmental and business organizations. What we're needing to do now is build upon that foundation. In my first 100 days as mayor, I will appoint an economic development director for the city of Shreveport. I do not believe that economic development is an area that we need to leave unwatched We need to make sure that someone is constantly, daily taking a look at implementing a comprehensive economic development plan. A comprehensive economic development plan will include not only creating and retaining jobs, but we must begin to incorporate education, workforce training, housing, and other issues such as quality of life. Someone would need to be able to watch that and move it forward for us on a daily basis. Secondly, I do believe that many of our citizens are greatly concerned about the condition of their neighborhoods. They want the neighborhoods to be much cleaner, they want the roads to be repaired. I believe that we are working on something like that and that we can continue to do that. In my first 100 days as mayor, I want to institute a phase 2 to Operation T-Bone. First of all, we will bring in what I want to label as an environmental court so that we can very much and more effectively deal with persons who are violating our codes. I think that what happens is a lot of people see these violations and they do not take them seriously, but I think an environmental court will help to do some behavior modification in that area. That is something I've heard many of you complain about, and I want to assure you as mayor, I will do something.
Thank you, Mr. Jenkins. Thank you, and Ms. Provenza. The question number is, question number 1. What do you believe is the number 1 priority for change that needs to take place in Shreveport, and how do you intend to bring about that change?
I think the absolute number 1 priority in Shreveport is addressing our diminishing tax base. That's affecting all of our services in our cities. And we need to have a strong economic development program that not only grows our companies and our economic development from within, but we also need to become innovative in bringing other industries. We need to address the tech industry. We need to bring Shreveport into the 21st century so that we're not just competitive with other cities in Louisiana, but we're competitive with cities across the United States. I'm glad I didn't get Sam's question, because I believe so strongly that we have so many resources. And I know for the other cities that I've consulted for, if they had only a trickle of what we have here in Shreveport, they would have been so envious. So what we need to have, again, is a very comprehensive plan that addresses all of our issues together so that we can grow our businesses from within and also bring other new lifeblood to the city. We have traditionally neglected a certain demographic of young people, and they are our lifeblood. What happens is they grow up here, they get educated here, and like me, they have to move away. But fortunately, some of them are coming back, and we need to create a community that they will love to live and love the way that I do. I have a comprehensive plan, and I invite you to join me on my webpage and at our town hall meetings so that you can learn more about our plans for Team Shreveport to make this city vibrant and prosperous again. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Tyler? Question number what? 2. Question number 2 for you, Ms. Tyler, is how do you intend to bring change to Shreveport, and will you replace the city attorney? We're not getting real technical tonight or anything.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lorick. How do I plan to bring change to Shreveport? I tell you, there are so many outstanding things happening in this city of ours. We have some great organizations. We have some great businesses. We have great nonprofits, people who are there, committed, dedicated to making sure that the needs of the citizens are met. I believe one of the things that we need to do is pull people together, unite them together around the needs as a whole in this city. I truly believe in my previous experience as a chief executive officer, we were able to unite people. We were able to engage the community. We were able to give them a strategic plan of what the needs were, how we could come together, galvanize around the vision, and get the job done. So if you wanted me to answer about the city attorney, I'm not sure if that's what we need to do, but I would say that I need to be able to choose my own team. I would love to choose people, and I will choose people when I become mayor, who are civic-minded, dedicated to this community, who love Shreveport, people who have the knowledge, experience, and who are servants for the people. Leadership is not about the leader, but it's about the people they serve. So I want to say go to my website, ollietylerformayor.com. Join us, see what's happening. We will be out there engaging you throughout the campaign and when I become mayor throughout my tenure as mayor.
Thank you so much. Next question, Mr. Patrick Williams, is question number 4. Question number 4 is, Mr. Williams, what is your first priority if elected?
My first priority as elected is to actually issue an audit and an efficiency study. We have to see where the dollars are going. I guess I'm looking through this thing through different lenses. Shreveport is in trouble. It's a lack of leadership. When you have businesses leaving, citizens leaving, we have to look at those things and understand what's happening there. When I go in, we actually gonna tear this city down to its bare core and rebuild it. We have to do this. When you have workers having a sick out, something's wrong. And we gotta understand what those things are. It's about leadership. When you have a staff that's not interested in working when the morale is down, that's about leadership. And so we have to put people in place that understands they're the people that actually gonna service you. So we gotta make sure that they're doing the right, that they understand what they need to do, that they're happy. Because we have to go back to the basics, just providing you clean water, that your garbage is picked up on time, that your streets are repaired, that you have fire protection, that you have police protection. That's what city government is supposed to do. So we have to go back to the basics first, and that's what I do. And after that, we can build from that point. Because we can't attract any new business until we take care of home first. We gotta get our house in order. That's what my grandmother always said. Before you invite somebody in, make sure your house is clean. So that's what we gotta do. We have to get back in order first, and then we can attract. Because we are a transportation hub, we have so many natural resources here that we can build upon. And so that's what I'm gonna do. Once we get our house in order, then we can go and build. So when I get in office, that's the first thing that I would do. I ask you for your vote on November 4th.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. That concludes the first basket of questions, and we're immediately going to start in the next basket. And Ms. Rapino, if you would choose, please.
And the hardest one last time, maybe this will be a little easy.
Question number 20. What steps will you take to help existing businesses in Shreveport?
First off, to answer that, I need to share with you, when my father finished the city of Shreveport in 1955, 5 years finishing your water line, he was low bidder for the secondary water lines to the Pentagon. And we left here to go up to Pentagon for a 6-year project for him to put the water lines in. My father built the Beltway. During my time there, I was the only one on this panel, or probably most of this town, that went to school with diplomats' children. I had one child literally from every country to go to school with for all those years. From that, I learned diversity. I learned to appreciate the different cultures. I learned to unite the cultures. I learned to appreciate the differences. I learned to incorporate them into everything. Everything's the same. It's the same blood, the same heart. When I look at businesses in this community, I opened business solutions accounting firms back in the 90s to help new businesses get started. Because number one, they couldn't even afford the lease on a building to open their businesses. I worked with them from ground up. I have a lot of experience in putting not only new businesses in effect, minority businesses, businesses that are on a shoestring, as well as large corporations. We have to build everything in this town together. We are one town. We are united. And what was brought to my family when someone come into our house, everything from an FBI person to a street laborer that happened to have cleaned our streets. My parents would say, have a cup of coffee, tell us your needs. My father would answer their needs, even though he wasn't the mayor. He wasn't on a council of our community. It's about what we do together. We can do well in businesses here in this community.
Candidates, let me ask, and I didn't want to interrupt you here, Ms. Arpino, but when we ask a question, again, these questions are presented by concerned citizens. We all love our grandchildren, but in all due respect, we're not interested in hearing about the grandchildren and our families and all that. We want answers to these questions, please. That's okay. We're not going to turn the mic back on, but we just ask that you maintain the questions. That's what we're here for, and we appreciate your pedigree, but we want answers tonight. Question number 8, Mr. Jenkins. What are your plans for getting our streets cleaned regularly? Shreveport has too much litter. What is going to be done about that?
Once again, I believe this can best be addressed through a part of what I call Build a Better Shreveport. This is an initiative that has several components. One of the components is to make our neighborhoods more safer and cleaner. We have already made some investments in the direction of keeping our streets clean. We have invested money into the street sweeping program so that we could go in and try to deal with the small items that are going on. We made some amendments to our public works ordinance, especially in the area of collection of solid waste. Many of you have probably been hearing about that in the news, our buck collection program, where we can go in now and make sure that excessive amounts of solid waste do not remain on the curb for prolonged periods of time. I helped to lead the charge in that particular area. I alluded to earlier the fact that within my first 100 days, there are some things I want to do to help keep our neighborhoods cleaner. One is the environmental court. We will be talking about that. We need to make sure that we are pursuing persons who intentionally or deliberately violating our code because people are not taking it seriously. You're living in a block where someone else in the block does not care as much as you do. If a person gets a traffic ticket, they're going to go to city court because they know someone is going to compel them to do it. Our environmental court will operate the same way. Secondly, within my first 100 days as mayor, I'm going to establish a central call center. What I hear from a lot of our citizens is when they do call in with concerns, they're handed from one person to the next, to the next, to the next, and then the concern gets lost. That central call center will take in all citizen concerns. We will track those concerns from the time that they come in until the time that they're resolved. Those are some of the ideas and practical steps that I believe that we can take to make our city and our neighborhoods clean.
That's just free entertainment. We have a cell phone going off up here, so that's if you hear the music. Ms. Provenza, 10. Ms. Provenza, the question number 10 that the citizens of Shreveport would like to know is, do you plan to adhere to the current master plan or focus on some immediate concerns of the city?
Well, can I say a combination of both? I'm a big believer in the master plan. I think one of the problems with and challenges to the city of Shreveport is we've not had a strong vision, and we need to adhere to a master plan while implementing incremental improvements throughout the city, which we can do. So it's a combination of both. I am not a career politician. I'm not looking to get elected for the next election. So one of the things that I will bring to this office that is different is that we will build immediately programs that we can implement where you can see instantaneous improvement, but we will also adhere to the master plan in moving forward. And so We will have complete transparency and open access to government. And so what that allows is for citizens to engage, as there's been a tremendous amount of engagement in the master plan, and that the UDC is of extreme importance. That is part of the master plan. It's a uniform development code that's being implemented right now. What that does is it creates a fair and equal playing ground for developers and all people who want to build inside the city. So I very strongly support the master plan, but I also have plans for incremental improvements during the 4 years that I'll be serving in office.
Thank you. Ms. Tyler? Question number 21, panel. Ms. Tyler, do you think city employees should get a raise? If so, what amount? And how do you propose to fund the raise?
Mr. Lurick, I believe that if the city can afford to give city employees a raise, that should be done. However, once we have examined what's happening in terms of the funding streams to address the needs of our city, then we will look to make sure that we're able to bring in resources from outside of the city. We have experienced this in working with legislators around the state and across the nation to be able to find funding that we can use to fund one-time type projects to replace assets in our city so that we can free up the general fund budget so that we can afford to give raises. In terms of an amount, that would depend on the amount of revenues that would be recurring in the budget. I know that you don't give raises based on one-time funding, so we would certainly be able to work very closely with every department. We'll educate all of the employees on what the priorities and what the needs are and how we can make it happen in terms of giving them a raise. So my first idea about giving raises would be that, yes, we want you to have a raise, but we don't want to have to cut the workforce to be able to give some raises and others will not have a job. But we will work diligently to redirect funding and align funding to the needs in this city. Sometimes, or oftentimes, we have funding that we can use to address some of the challenges we face, but we may not be using those funds effectively. My experience says that I've been able to actually look into the budgets, find out how we're spending money, and then align those funds and those funding streams to the needs of this city. We will work and partner with businesses, private, nonprofits, other local entities.
Thank you, Ms. Tyler. Mr. Williams, your question number will be 19. Question number 19, Mr. Williams, what steps will you take to bring new companies to Shreveport?
I'm glad you asked that question. Actually, I've already started taking steps to do this. Again, like I said, we have to actually go back to the basics first before we can invite new companies in. We have to make sure that our existing businesses are getting what they need to grow. That's first. What they need to thrive, because they have an investment here. And once they're doing well, then we go out and attract new business. We have to build on our natural resources that we have. We have to look at what we're doing. Bentley Steel is here. We know that's here. So we should be actually attracting ancillary services to service Bentley Steel at this particular point. I've been to China. I've worked with individuals there, the investors that want to come and invest in Louisiana, and they've targeted North Louisiana as an area to invest. And so these are companies that I'm already working with. Actually, in the next couple of weeks, I'll be bringing them here and to invest in these particular industry because they know that Shreveport is a great city to invest in. And so those are the things that I'm already working on. It's not like what I'm going to do once I get in, because I don't just talk the talk, I walk the walk. And that's what I'm doing. I'm going to bring investors in to invest in Shreveport so we can grow our country, because taxing is not an option. We have to grow our way out of what we're doing. I'm Patrick Williams, and I ask for your vote on November 4th.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. We're now at the halfway point. Are you liking this so far? let them know that you appreciate their answers, okay? Okay, we're going to start on the opposite end this time. Patrick, you just got through speaking, but we're going to let you draw and come back this way. How's that? Don't want you to feel last all the time. 12. Question number 12 tonight. Mr. Williams, what assurances, if any, can you give the citizens of Shreveport that you will not ask for any new taxes to implement new programs or plans that you hope to implement?
I'm glad you asked that question as well. Because again, taxing is not an option here. We have to go back to the basics first. Provide our citizens what they need. Once we do that, then we can grow our way out. And that's the only way that we can do this. And that's piggybacking on the question that I just answered, in that once we find out what our existing businesses need, we service those. They have already invested in this city. And so we have to make sure that they're doing the best that they can, and that the city is doing the best that they can to service them, because they have an investment need. And once we do that, other companies outside will see that this is a great place to work and live and raise a family. And so we grow our way out of this. And so therefore, I can put out that I'm not going to raise taxes because it's not an option. We go in and look at the budget, and it's not just what's on the budget line. You have to look in the details. You have to look at the footnotes. That determines where dollars are going, because you can move those dollars around just looking at the budget. So once you go in and look at the footnotes and understand that we need to provide the basic service, direct those dollars to where they need to go, and then we'll see that we're already in good shape at that particular point, and then therefore we can grow. Again, I'm Patrick Williams, and I ask you for your vote on November 4th. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. I've got your name down. I'm getting there. My Dale Carnegie's kicking in. I can remember that one. Question number 13, Ms. Tyler. Please identify the major infrastructure needs of the city and advise how you will address them as mayor. Because this is host in Southern Hills, they added to that question specifically Juella Road.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lorick. In looking at documents that I've acquired actually from the city for infrastructure needs, we know that presently we under a consent decree because of our sewer system and our waste water system. And want you to know that the process has already begun. The taxpayers in the city have already passed bonds to help us address some of that. However, researching further, we know that we need about $1.5 billion to be able to just catch up. And then we're going to need another $287,000 per year, per year, to be able to maintain and repair the infrastructure. Looking at Juella Road specifically, we know that we need to do something about that road. The infrastructure in terms of roads in our city is in bad need of replacement and repair. So in order to address that, once again, we're going to unite people. We need to get our legislative delegation together. We will craft a strategic plan of what our major needs are, and we will prioritize those needs. And we will call that delegation together and say, when you go to Baton Rouge and try to bring home the money of the bacon to Shreveport, these are the things that we need you to go for, because we need funding to address the infrastructure in our city. We will get together with our congressmen who represent all of us. We put those people in office, we need to hold them accountable. But we need to unite around the priorities that we have identified in our city. We will do that together. We'll build relationships with the city council and all the other entities. And we will look at a vision for Shreveport. Prioritize around that vision, get everybody on the same sheet who represent the citizens in this city.
Thank you, Ms. Tyler. Mr. President, your question, please. Question number 24. How will you save jobs in Shreveport? That's a concern, a major concern for everyone, so.
Well, I have unique experience with a program called economic gardening. And everyone thinks of food and sustainable living when you think of gardening. But economic gardening is an economic principle that was developed over 20 years ago in Littleton, Colorado. It's been very successful for my customers and my municipal clients across the United States. And it takes an entrepreneurial approach to economic development where you actually build your community and your companies from within, while at the same time you invite innovation from outside so that you have fair and equal commerce available to your local community businesses as well as to the businesses that you want to attract in. So how you save jobs is you actually build an economy where there's multiple jobs. It also addresses some of the issues with city employees, is that city employees need to be competitive in the corporate market, but we need more of a corporate market in Shreveport so that people like me and some of your children don't go away, get educated, and have to move to other cities to live and raise their families when we want to live and love here. So how we can do that is tax incentives are a great tool. But another tool in that toolbox is economic gardening, where government does what government's supposed to do through complete transparency, 24/7 access, and you build a public-private partnership. So government does what it does best, and businesses flourish and grow in what they know how to do best as entrepreneurs.
Thank you so very much. Mr. Jenkins. Question number 14. Do we need additional water sources to support Cross Lake and additional water treatment plants? If so, how will it be financed?
I think it would be wise for the city of Shreveport and the parish of Caddo, and for that matter, Bossier Parish and the city of Bossier, to look at alternative water sources. Some of this is already being studied. Some of the information is being brought to some of us that are on the council as well as on the commission. I do not think that we need to restrict ourselves to the single bodies of water that we do have now. I believe part of the discussion, and it's been a little while since I've been involved in it, was to put in some water treatment plants in the northern and southern parts of the parish. This can bring some relief off of the city's water system, because a lot of people are now tied into the city's water system. Of course, bonds are a way to try to get the money necessary to finance that. I think bonds are a good way to look at it, because you are doing that with the citizens' consent, because you would have to be informed of that, and you would have to agree to it and allow the parish to move forward to do it. But right now in the city of Shreveport, you have basically Cross Lake that everyone is dependent upon. I've always been concerned about that, that we do not have an alternative source of water. It is something we need to continue to explore. It is being looked into now, and I certainly would put that on my top 12 list if I'm elected mayor of the city of Shreveport, because it is a very serious matter.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jenkins. Okay, Ms. Alpino. Question number 22. So I know the citizens would like to know, have you read the MPC master plan and the Unified Development Code? And if so, what are your views on it? And what importance do you attach to them?
I have reviewed parts of them. Parts of them that I did review, I have a differing opinion of some of it. But there again, even though my lineage was attacked, we built the infrastructures of this town, and within that, it does address those entities. I cannot begin to tell you how much it misses on the master plan of what it takes to repair and fix and redo the water and sewer infrastructures of this town. We should have done it 26 years ago. I cannot emphasize how important it is. That's why I'm running. I know how bad it is in its shape. These plans are great if you want a plan and you're looking at plans. What we need to do, and another reason I'm running, and it's not in your plan, we need to audit the city funds. I have a feeling a lot of those bond issues, that they want more bond issues, I have a feeling the money is in another fund that it shouldn't be. And I would audit, and I'm the only one up here that can audit. I am a degreed accountant. I would audit every city fund to see how much money is in them that we could use towards our plans of what we want Shreveport to once again be.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your answer. Okay, the last round of questions as we begin again with Mr. Williams. What's that first name again?
Patrick.
Pardon? 16, question number 16. Mr. Williams, should the extension of I-49 be looped around the city or go through Allendale? Please explain your position.
I wish you wouldn't ask me that question. well, the bottom line is the funding is not there to do it. We can talk about it and we can wish for it, but it's just not there. So we have to do something at this point. So the loop it at this right now is the best way to do it, and also offer a boulevard through the Allendale property, because we don't want the traffic going around. We want it to come in where we can actually take advantage of that traffic going through. So to answer your question, it'll be the loop it at this particular point with a boulevard. Thank you very much, and you already know my name, so can I have your name?
Thank you, Mr. Williams. I appreciate it. Ms. Tyler, citizens of Shreveport would like your answer on how will you address large areas in the city that are becoming, quote, donuts, i.e. people moving out and no developments?
Mr. Lorick, I believe that people have become apathetic about what's happening in our city. I think we together can bring back the pride, we can bring back excitement, and we can show people that we have a great city. In fact, Shreveport is the only city in the north with a downtown skyline. And I think that once we're able to address some of the issues that we face in this city, then we'll be able to start working together to resolve those issues. And when we do that, we will be able to show our young people and our young families that we have some things to offer. However, with a vision that all of us work together on, we will be going to all the other governmental entities, and we will pool our resources and address the needs of this city. We will bring in and attract new businesses so that people will have jobs and be able to have a good quality of life. We will also extend and expand on the culture that we have here. We have wonderful cultural experiences. We will market this city better. We will be proud of Shreveport, and we will let people know. We have so many outstanding national things that are happening that people have received in this city that nobody knows about. We don't tell folks what great opportunities we have here. We will also come together, and I believe that I will be able to do that. In my previous experiences, we've been able to engage people around the objectives that we have for getting things done. And then we will be able to hold people accountable, work hard every single day to make sure that we report back to the public what we have done.
Thank you, Ms. Tyler. I'm so sorry we keep cutting you off, but thank you for answering. Ms. Presenza, let me see. 15. Ms. Provenza, the question for you is, Do you have any plans to restructure the mayor's office and/or the city departments?
Ooh, very good question. Yes, I have very much those plans. One of the things that I think is extremely important is that the city is run like a corporation where you're accountable and you have a product that you must deliver. Businesses are not viable or sustainable unless they have a product that they deliver to their citizens. So one of the things that I will do, because everyone asks, where's the money? Well, because I've been able to consult all across the United States, I can compare a $250 million infrastructure project in Shreveport to a $250 million infrastructure project in the city and county of Pueblo. What happens is the product that is being delivered in Shreveport for the same amount of money is not comparable to the product that is delivered, it's subpar to the product that's delivered to my other customers across the United States. So this leads me to believe that the contracts that are occurring in Shreveport are being affected by, and I don't know which of the three this is, but it is either corruption, mismanagement, or incompetency. My experience is that I'm not going to point fingers, as Patrick Williams said. I'm going to hit the ground running. So there's plenty of citizens who can sue if they want to sue. We'll have open transparency in government. But we will move forward, and to answer your question, is that we will have our own separate contracting arm. It will be taken out of community development. Every contract will be so tight that there is no room at all for corruption, incompetency, or gross mismanagement. We'll do a couple of other changes, but they're more cultural.
Thank you very much. Mr. Jenkins. Let's see if you have a winning ticket tonight. 26. I'm not sure about this. How will you expedite the construction to be funded by the general obligation bonds already sold by the city and from the sale of the remaining, but the unsold bonds from the 2011 bond package?
I believe we are well on our way. It was unfortunate that there was some delay. There was some gridlock that prevented the second bond sale. I can report to you tonight, and I'm happy to report to you tonight, that the council has given the administration a green light to proceed with the second bond sale. By way of background, that bond was passed in 2011. It was one of the largest bond issues in the history of the city of Shreveport at $175 million. Half of those bonds were sold. Most of the money from the first sale was dedicated to design. That's where the experts, the engineers, and people like that need to go out and do their part of it. The second bond sale that is going forward now will have dollars for construction. The things that I know you, the citizens, would like to see. You want to see buildings being repaired. You want to see the money going towards the infrastructure needs. And you want to see the parks being upgraded and things along those lines. So I'm happy to report to you tonight that the second bond sale is moving forward. There is a financial team that has been presented to the council. We've given them the green light to go ahead and do the things that they need to do to make sure that moves forward. So hopefully here, within the timeline of the next year, that we began to see some of the construction work that I know that you want to see and that you approved in the 2011 bond.
Thank you, Mr. Jenkins. Ms. Arpino. Question number 23. How can we continue, this comes again from the local area here because of the Southern Hills Business Association and Homeowners Association also submitted this question. How can we continue to the growth of the Southern Hills area?
The Southern Hills area is a good area of Shreveport. I'm a little biased towards it. The infrastructures have broken down a little bit. Streets need to be redone in the Southern Hills area. There's 2 trunk lines that are soon to fall with the sewers and water, in the sewerage of Southern Hills area. The best way to help Southern Hills area is to bring back growth. We've got too many buildings just sitting there. Those are good buildings. Even if the building is given to someone free lease for a year, as long as they take care of the buildings, it's better than them just sitting there being destroyed. I know I've seen some of the contracts and the studies on that particular, and I've seen the cost, by the way, of our consultants and our studies and all of that for our city. Southern Hills has many, many, many good things to come its way because it's a good area of town, but unless we get the trash picked up, and while we're giving, I think it's $400,000 to Shreveport Green, it's wonderful they plant trees. How about picking up trash so we're not driving down Mansfield Road, Jewella, and see trash on the side of the streets? How about taking some more pride in our city? I assure you, I have no vested interest. I have no cronies behind me. But I love this city, and I will fight for every area to get what it deserves.
Thank you very much, Ms. Opino. That concludes our questions for the night. I'm going to ask if the candidates, if you would, as you stand, we're going to ask that you remain seated. Let them make their way out to the foyer so that you can better visit with them. There are tables set up, and some of them have handouts that they would like to give. I would also like to say thank you to the other candidates that are running for office. Thank you for giving of yourself and your time. I appreciate you as the citizens of Shreveport being here tonight. And now, could we say our thank you to all the candidates for being here tonight. On behalf of the Southern Hills Business Association, the Southern Hills Homeowners Association, and the League of Women Voters, we thank you for being here. We thank Southwood High School, Kettle Parish School Board for allowing us to host this. Thank you for being here. God bless you. Go out and vote. Make wise decisions. Thank you.